for this week that we are going to be discussing is Måneskin's brand new album, Rush. So it's not Måneskin. I've had to look this up multiple times, but it's Måneskin. So Rush is the third studio album by Italian band Måneskin. It was released on January 20th, 2023. It is technically their first international release since their first two albums were distributed in Italy and its neighboring countries. This is their second studio album since winning the Eurovision Song Contest in 2021. So Eric, thoughts on Rush by Måneskin?
So I heard Måneskin, so I have Italian in my heritage. So I'm all for Italian culture. Love it. So I first heard these guys with that "I Want to Be Your Slave." It came on the radio, and I was like, "All right, this is a bit of like a very repetitive song."
Yep.
But I was intrigued with that song because of the singer. The singer has a very unique voice, right? It's almost like I don't want to like. I have to really word this properly because I know you're gonna come at me if I say it wrong. He has it like almost like I wouldn't say range, but almost like a Freddie Mercury kind of like when he holds those long notes kind of thing,
Yeah.
but more of like a growl in his voice. Like he doesn't obviously have the range as Freddie Mercury does, but he kind of has that same like right kind of thing. Which I found very interesting. And when that song came out, I was listening, I was just intrigued, and I was like, oh, these guys are Italian. That's amazing. Even though the name is, I think, German. Måneskin. I think it's an actual German
I think
word.
Måneskin. Yeah, German or Norwegian. I can't remember exactly.
So it's not Italian, but the band is from Italy. What I like about them is that the band's very diverse, right? Like they all believe in their own thing, which I think is awesome. And it's very rock and roll too, because like he comes out with the makeup. The girl bass player, I feel like she's pretty decent. She's nothing like crazy, but pretty decent. The one thing I find with this band, they're very simple, like punk rock kind of mixed with a bit more poppy songs in it.
Yeah.
And I tend to enjoy their like songs in their native tongue. So their songs in Italian. And I really liked the two songs in Italian on this album. I think that they were the heavy hitters. However, I actually like the more I listened to this album, the more I was liking it, which was interesting. Like they're very good at like it's nothing crazy. Like you're not getting like any kind of progressive rock. It's very simple, like AC/DC style, like power chords or just like one note kind of songs. But I feel like they're very good at building up their songs, right? And it's just like starts off with like very skeleton to something big. Like, and I'll use like, and I feel like this is the weakest song, one of the weakest songs on the album, Blah Blah Blah. Number 4.
Oh my god, yes.
So like again, I feel like, and this is just the example I'm using for build up. Like it's just very like, okay, this is I thought the song is stupid. Like don't get me wrong, I don't like the song, but then by the end of it, it's like just like they're adding more layers to it, which is kind of interesting. I dug the singles on the album. I thought Own My Mind, the opener, was good. Gossip featuring Tom Morello, which I was very surprised. I thought that wasn't bad, but I really loved La Fine and Il Dono della Vita. Like those are my favorite songs on the album. Mamma Mia was good, but they're very like poppy rock punk. Like if that makes any sense. Like, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm like to the point of the songs in their native tongue. are just far more superior than when it's an English song. Like those two songs, track 13 and 14, oh my god, they're so much better than the rest of the album in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like I get they want to break into the international markets, and I had to look back at like albums 1 and 2, like their studio albums, and majority of it is in Italian. Their first 2 albums, they
Yeah.
do have
Oh
some
yeah.
English songs, but the majority is in Italian. Um, but yeah, for this album specifically, like the 2 Italian songs are just like so much better than everything else, I think. And blah blah blah. There is a meme song called the Mustache Song. It's literally the same song. Like when I heard this song, I was like, "This is a meme song that you just copied," and it's like that really annoyed me. So like, there's definitely parts of this album where I'm like, this did not work at all. Like I don't know why you
Yeah.
decided to do this, but yes, very rock and rolly, definitely punk elements, but very pop. And I was there's a few songs on this album. Towards the end, I think it's like Supermodel and some of them. I was sniffing around and it's like smells like meatballs. It sort of seems like Italian meatballs, but if you look closely, they're Swedish meatballs. And when I looked it up, Max Martin was the producer on the last set of songs on this album. And I was
Of
like,
course
God
he
damn it, this
was.
man shows up freaking everywhere.
Mhm.
So that sort of annoyed me also. But
Because I think before this album was recorded, Mamma Mia and Supermodel were recorded way before this album was even
yeah,
thought of.
yeah,
So that would make sense.
yeah, yeah. Those were Max
Hmm.
Martin Productions. Which kudos to him. He knows how to like produce a song, but man, is it annoying. Um, and then the Tom Morello feature on Gossip, the guitar solo is very Tom Morello. There's nothing new. Like
Yeah.
once you hear one Tom Morello guitar solo, it's like the same thing. He just uses his whammy pedal the whole time. But I found
I
like some of
actually
the other
thought I
songs on this
when I
album.
when I heard that guitar solo, I was like, huh, this sounds like something like out of like Rage or like
Yeah,
Audio
yeah,
Slave. And then I was like, oh shit, it's Tom Morello. Who would have thought?
yeah.
Mm,
But I found like they sort of used a lot more whammy pedal for other songs too. I was like, oh, is that Tom Morello in the background? But like the tone wasn't right. So like I think they took a lot of cues from Gossip and that solo and like tried to incorporate it into other songs, which was like that's pretty cool. Um, to be honest, I don't think this album is something I'm going to listen to again. I didn't I didn't really gravitate towards it, but I still think it's a pretty good album, if
yeah.
that makes
It's
sense.
it's it's I agree with you. It's like when I first listened to this, I was like, this is pretty basic. Like and then when I
Yeah.
listened to it, like the more I listened to it, I was like, I kind of like it a little bit more each time. And I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if it's that like just the very like it's a weird like kind of flamboyant style punk rock kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. It's very interesting. But
Yeah.
again, I really like if you really want to listen to this band, listen to their first albums because in their native tongue, it's awesome. Um, yeah, like I mean, for those of you who actually want a translation of song 13 and 14, La Fine, which is the final, and Il Dono della Vita, which is the gift of life. So there you go.
Oh, that's a really good title.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good title. Unlike number 9, Cool Kids, that's a terrible title.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some song like
Like,
blah blah blah. I felt Cool Kids was a weak song on the album. Um I kind of like I want to dislike Mamma Mia just because it's like almost like an ABBA reference. But the song is okay. It's not
mhm.
I don't hate it, but I want to hate it because of ABBA. That's the only reason.
All right. Final thoughts. Rating. What are you gonna give it?
Again, I probably wouldn't recommend this album, excuse me, to anybody, but I would recommend their other albums. So the rating I'm going to give this is a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. Okay.
And
You know, to be honest,
and just to let
yeah,
you know that this band is freaking huge in Italy. Like huge.
yeah. Apparently, they've already sold 40 million copies of like not this specific album, but just like over their 3 studio albums, and maybe there's a live album thrown in there. They've sold 40 million.
Wow.
That's what you get for winning Eurovision, to be honest, because Eurovision, that's huge money.
That is huge money.
Yeah.
But he does have a good voice, though. Like you can't deny it. Like it's very unique and very like almost mesmerizing. So
yep. For me, so 6.5, eh? I'm actually gonna give it higher. I'm probably gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10 for this one.
Wow.
Although on my enjoyability scale is probably much lower. It's definitely not something I'm gonna come back to or like I really like. When listening to it, I was not like, okay, this is mind blowing or like there's something about it. But as an overall album, it was like pretty good. Oh, I should have mentioned, the slow songs on this album, they were ill placed. It would go from like this hard rock type of song and then suddenly just like stop and go into this like slow ballad. I thought that was messed up. But
yeah.
I think album as a whole, it's not bad. So I would, if you're just getting into rock now, it's not a bad place to start, I would say.
Oh man, like if you don't mind listening to songs in other languages, I would listen to their first 2 albums because they're a lot heavier. It's like it's more heavier rock than it is. Yeah, like I think like it would be almost up your alley. Right?
Okay.
So.
Maybe I'll check it out then. All right, wonderful. So that's our review of Rush by Måneskin. For those of you following along with us every week, actually, we're going to do a little bit of announcement after this, but the album that we are going to be listening to and reviewing for the next episode will be Shania Twain's Queen of Me when it does come out. And as a follow-up to that, we are taking a slight hiatus for, I think it's about 2 weeks or so. But we will announce on the Discord when the next scheduled episode will be, but it's roughly a 2-week hiatus.
I believe it will be on the 20th. I have it up here. 20th of February.
Okay.
So.
Okay, there you go. 20th of February will be the next episode because I will be busy for a week and then Eric will be busy for another week. So we'll be taking a short hiatus, but that gives us time to listen to Shania Twain's brand new album after who knows how long she's done an album.
This is going to be very, like, I feel like this is going to be a roller coaster ride. I feel like I'm going to have a lot to say about this. So
we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad. That's my only concern with that one. But that's it. Eric, I think we will save The Thief for next time because we are quite a bit over time today.
Absolutely, buddy.
But that's basically a show. We're here at twitch.tv/the Crossroads Music Podcast every Monday. Are we moving to a Wednesday schedule or are we?
Well, actually, because of this hiatus break, we're skipping the Wednesday schedule. So we will be back,
so we're back on
Monday.
Mondays. So. All right, Mondays at 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast. I always call it Apple Music, but it's Apple Podcast. Join the Discord. Tell us what the Michael documentary should focus on. What aspects of his life.
And what you don't like about us. We don't know. What you like about us. Tell us whatever. So come chat with us. We have nothing else to do with our lives. So
yeah, exactly. All right, perfect. So that's it for the show. We'll catch you all next time.